All right, greetings class. Today we're going to look at how to write a photo essay. This is our module page, of course, you see here, our Canvas homepage. What you're looking for here is in week 1. That is our photo essay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the prompt here. And then we'll go into detail about how to put this together. All right, so in the photo essay, which is essay 1, I'll fix that. We're going to compose a photo essay. This assignment is to compose a 3 to 4 page photo essay on what you've been doing during the pandemic. Your photo essay should have an introduction, of course, a conclusion. You want about 4 original photos and 1 paragraph per photo, and a reflective conclusion. A couple good basics to writing a good photo essay, right? Use vivid description, appeal to the senses, use at least 1 quote, have a works cited page, probably a reference to a statistic in the introduction would be satisfactory there. Use at least 4 photos, preferably stuff that you take yourself. It adds that indefinable quality that you can't get from just borrowing random photos online. Write at least 6 paragraphs. An introduction that would include an introduction, 4 paragraphs for the 4 photos, and a reflective conclusion. All right, that's the overview. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I put together for you. All right, so this is going to be about your pandemic experience. It is a narrative essay, so you're writing about your own experience. I'm going to have about 3 to 4 photos, 3 to 4 body paragraphs. I think the prompt says 4, so I might just keep that at 4. It mentions the works cited page, what you want to do there. All right, let's look at how to get started. So consider the story, the message, or the theme that you're looking to convey, right? What's the overall, if you have a theme, a message, a story, a feeling, a tone, an emotion that you want to come across in this, let's consider that at the beginning. And then as you start to arrange your photos, you're going to note that there are many different ways to create a photo essay and many different ways to design a photo essay. And you're going to want to experiment with some of those different photo sequences and see what works. What you have here is kind of a model for that. You'll notice all these shots that we're talking about here would work for that. So if you wanted to use the order presented here, that would work as well. You can also think about changing the order of what you see here. Establishing shot. So let's start with that, right? An establishing shot is used to establish location. It's usually taken from the outside. As you can see, this is like a wide shot of the hotel in The Shining. This is from the movie Dark Shadows. You see that like outward castle, right? Think of anything in New York, right? They always show that Manhattan skyline. What's the background or establishing shot that you want to use? Students will do different things here, and it kind of depends on the essay. Some of the ones that, like for example, you might show a picture of our school completely empty, right? Which is not a normal thing. One of the best things I like as far as starting with a establishing shot is to take inspiration from this photo essay I love, Ashima Yadawa's Front Yard series. And these are some photos from her piece. And these are 3 different, they show different things, right? You see here, we have, this is a front yard series. So this is people's front yards, and they're basically either in the yard as presented here or in their house as presented here. And you can see them through, well, in various ways, right? So you got here one person, got the her facial expressions there, right? We have 2 people photographed here outside, one kind of casually sitting, the other standing. Looks to me like, I have to take a better look at that photo, but it looks to me like his This person's fists are clenched. They seem kind of tense. That would be my initial impression of that image. But this image here is just amazing, right? This image has so much. This one at the bottom, you have the reflective kind of sad, look of what is apparently like probably the matriarch of this family, and the patriarch is looking straight ahead. The grandfather also kind of like just that real hint of sadness in his eyes, and then she's looking outward. You have the younger person kind of like looking out and thinking about the world. Maybe there's a lot you can get from using a front yard shot as your establishing shot, because you'd be establishing where you spent most of your time during the pandemic. It's a classic and a really good way to start. I wouldn't say classic, actually. I thought of that. Anyway, well, use inspiration from from a photojournalist. Action shots are great to use. Action shots, of course, when someone is doing something, and you want to emphasize here how hard or easy their work is. What is it that they're doing? And can you show, there are different types of action shots. These, of course, feature basketball, a famous basketball player named Michael Jordan. These are other action shots here of people working hard at their jobs. Right? You should show, you working on your job or practicing a skill. Relationship shots, right? These are real interesting because they show kind of how people feel about each other. We have some from movies. The Norton character looking at Brad Pitt, or this great moment between Angela Bassett and Denzel Washington in Malcolm X. These are 3 relationship shots from photo essays, right? And what you're looking for here is, what is the relationship between these people? So let's take a look at some of this. So this was a ranger and his son who was kidnapped and was brought back to his father. And there's so much here, right? I mean, there's the love, him putting his arm around his son. But then there's, if you look in their faces, I mean, there's such, deep, tragic sorrow you can see, and of course regret probably on behalf of the father, who couldn't prevent his son from being kidnapped. And then this one here is an interesting shot from a photo essay. This one practices that idea of seeing or visualizing relationships that may not really be there. Obviously, when you're talking about a father and a son, or familial relationships, there's a real relationship there. Here we have another man cutting his hair. Then we have another person watching this happen. So whether they all know each other or whether this person is here just observing this, you can kind of, as a photographer, create or see or visualize a relationship here. Portrait shots are not required in this essay, but I have seen a couple good ones where students have made a portrait shot with like you at work in your PPE gear, your personal protection equipment, gear. That works rather well, right? A student submitted a picture of themselves at a hospital. We're working at a hospital. That kind of portrait, I think, I would really encourage. In general, a portrait is used in some photo essays, but that's usually when you're like writing about a famous person and you want to put a portrait of them. Like I said, in your own essay, it might be more useful to, give a picture of yourself in your PPE gear at work. Here's a portrait, and again, in a good portrait, it gives you a lot to think about, right? He's sitting here in his truck. What's he looking at? He's smoking. He's obviously, I don't know, he looks kind of stressed. I mean, you see the wrinkles on his forehead. He's obviously deep in thought about something. if you know the context of the photo essay, it makes a whole lot more sense of what he's upset about. Headshots, you can't, like, is another just option you can or cannot use. Kind of the Get Out shot is a classic headshot that you might think of now. Some classic movie headshots. Basically, it's the whole face, kind of like shoulders to the top of the head, is what's in a headshot. But what I found also in photo essays is that people will use shots of hands and arms, and these are actually kind of interesting too, as opposed to just merely like a headshot. Um, here they're dealing with like Native American like issues, like she's signing or stamping some kind of tribal memorandum here, right? And like it says here, there's a lot you can tell about people, from their hands, from their arms. Good workspace shot. Don't really have a place for my picture here. A good workspace image is useful. There are basically just two options on this. You're either looking to show you in the workplace working, or the workplace itself. So, like in these examples here, you see like people in their workspace. You see this person. This is from like Office Space and the Office TV show, and it's just observing you or the featured character here in their workspace. These are other workspace shots. Okay, this is a BYU. I have only a couple minutes left. Okay. This is a BYU photo essay. Some things I like, some things I don't like. This is probably the best example that you'll see up there that's about the pandemic that is on our Canvas page. It starts off strong. It has several, body paragraphs, although they're, kind of light in narrative content. There are four paragraphs here, and then there are a series of interesting images about kind of universities dealing with the pandemic, right? You see signs like this, and there's the professor teaching a class, and there's no one in the class. The empty gym. What this misses as a photo essay that I'm assigning in this class is a larger body paragraph underneath the image. If it had that, this would be just about perfect. That's kind of the main flaw to this as a photo essay, is that it doesn't have enough narrative content about the images. So that's a problem. There's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of interesting images. This is a new sanitation device, student working alone, first day of remote learning. These are really interesting photos here that you can do that with. There's a triage area on campus. Here, let's skip to this part. This is how people got their stuff. They took their stuff home. Only a little bit of time left. Okay, here, let's put this one down. And this student example here, we'll just spend the last minute on this. This student example here is excellent. It opens up with, COVID-19. I've seen other ones that will probably include some statistics here, which I think is a good idea. I would say that that's missing from this one, and it should be there. I love this, right? This is their faculty parking, where, it's kind of odd. I guess there's where they worked, there was a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of people still still on the job, right? Even during the pandemic. This person had to move. They took a little trip, and they wrote about each one of these. And frankly, it makes it a really good photo essay. And let's just take a minute to tell you how much I love this image, because this person didn't clean this up, and it's clear that they didn't change the way their office looks to make a great picture for the photo essay. They took a real picture. I mean, you have a rag, and you have a cleaning bottle here. I think somewhere you see someone's water bottle. This is a workspace shot. certainly a very good one. Okay, that's it for this.